Okay, starting to head towards Port Mansfield for this 1 o'clock pickup. 49 minutes. Should get me there a little early. And I'm going to engage here from the back of the Walmart service center. So far, 14.1, very smooth, no issues. A little harsh on the braking there, but not too harsh. Chicken plates, $10. Barbecue chicken plate, $10. Banana bread, cookies. Banana nut bread, not butt bread. Walmart parking lot's always a nightmare with all these people walking across, including this employee too busy looking at her phone to look up to see there's a car waiting. From here, there's not that many other options to get to Port Mansfield. So let's see how the car does on these roads. The biggest issue I have about some of these roads out here is speed limits. Speeds. Sometimes there's no signs posted anywhere. Like since we left the Walmart, we've seen no speed limit signs. Sometimes I ride into gravel roads, dirt roads. Picking people up, it's amazing some of the neighborhoods that they live in. So I drive in pretty much all types of roads and conditions, and these roads get quite rough. It's done a number on my Model 3. Even though I have 360,000 miles on that, a lot of these areas, it's taking the toll on the suspension of the car. And I cannot tell you how many times I've replaced the cover on the bottom of the car from all these dips and potholes, rubbing the bottom of it. Now, right now, since it's an hour till the ride, Uber's app should automatically just taking rides going towards that destination. But the odds of getting anybody going anywhere near that destination from here is slim to none. Now, I've been to Port Mansfield a couple of times. The first time was a couple years ago with with full self-driving. I didn't tell it to go there. I just engaged full self-driving one day with no destination set while I was on the island just to see what it would do. Yeah, I drove down the road and turned around and came back up the road on the island, and then it went across the bridge into Port Isabel and started coming up and making just occasional left turn or right turn here and there on its own. And then I wound up in Port Mansfield an hour later. Kind of fun just to see where it goes. Yeah, we can go into navigation and say feel lucky, but it's also, you know, for me doing Uber and basically trolling for rides, you know, driving through areas hoping a ride pops up here or there, kind of like you're fishing. So a lot of times I will head someplace without using or telling FSD where to go, and it still works. Don't have to give it a destination. You just don't know when it's going to decide it's going to turn. And sometimes it does. I've had a few times where it just kind of pulled over the side of the road and came to a stop. Not immediately, you know, just after a while, it got to a certain point and came to a stop and said, navigation completed, which I think was kind of funny, since I didn't tell it where to go. So what navigation was completed? I ramble, sorry. But yeah, I may speed this video up for this drive, but it'll be interesting to see how it handles driving this country area. One thing, I do have my Starlink mini dish in the back window for connection to Starlink network. It actually comes in handy in these areas. As you can see on my phone, I'm down to just one little bitty bar, and I have not gotten that far away from San Benito. So you do get into areas here where you have no cell coverage at all. So having the Starlink in the car makes it really nice. I would love it if I could both do Starlink and cellular simultaneously for backup, especially when I am dropping off like at a hotel or an airport and I'm underneath a cover and it's blocking the satellite. Yeah, I love it when it takes a road named Cemetery Road. I didn't see a cemetery back there. This area, you know, I get a lot of stuff sucked into the front of my car during certain times of year when they're harvesting a lot of the cotton. You'll see big, huge bundles of cotton over here for staging for shipping to be picked up. Yeah, that can get into the air exchangers and really kind of clog it up after a while. You need to see on the Model Y how easy it is to get to that to clean it off. I'm at 46,000 miles. I need to extend the warranty plan on there. I'm wondering if it starts charging once I hit 50,000 miles. Or if it's going to start charging early. try that now while I was driving. We go into the app. Under your Tesla app, you will have upgrades, service plans, software upgrades, accessibility. I'm still watching the road. The extended service agreement, $60 a month. And I'll say add. Yeah, I still have about 493 Tesla credits, so I go ahead and subscribe using the Tesla credit. Okay, so I've subscribed to that. So I went in and handled that before my warranty actually expires. That should extend it another 50,000. So I have that bumper-to-bumper warranty for 100,000 miles. And the battery and the drivetrain is good for 120,000 miles. The cameras are only covered for 12,500 miles. So I've already exceeded the camera warranty. That's why having them replace the front bumper camera is going to cost me $240. I've ordered these covers for that camera because it'd be cheaper to replace those covers, and hopefully those work good. But for me, yeah, my camera lenses are already all nicked up and everything from all the sand and stuff. However, the way cameras work, even with that, I still have a pretty good image, even with all the nicks and stuff on that camera. We're coming through a little town called Rio Hondo. Which is off that way. Now this is an interesting little corner because the cross traffic does not stop here. And they're coming from a 35 going to a 55, so everybody's speeding up here. But it's kind of a tight corner where I physically have to turn my body to look around the corner. And it's kind of hard to see, especially when you got these fields growing over there, blocking your view. We're 49 minutes from the scheduled time. It's still there. Like I say, the person can cancel the scheduled ride up to 30 minutes before the ride and not be charged. Now imagine you're driving your car, or your car is driving you on full self-driving. You do not tell it where to go, and it's just making this random turn here. It's like, okay, why are you turning here? That's kind of what was happening to me when I was just letting the car drive. It is not knowing exactly what it was going to do. It just did it, and I wound up in a little town. It's a cute town. It's a little bitty farming town. I think there's a park down there too. I'm always paranoid that I might have misread that. And it's like, no, that's Westport Drive. And Westport Drive, our place, Port Mansfield, Texas. So yeah, Port Mansfield. I don't have the exact address until Uber sends it to me once it starts officially routing it to me. But he's like not all the way down here, so heading that way should help. just to let you know, as you can see, I'm a U.S. Coast Guard veteran. Yes, I used to, or I still do work in the computer IT field all my life. I spent several years in the Coast Guard, stationed in Chicago, search and rescue, Lake Michigan. Grew up in Richmond, Virginia. Used to volunteer at the Science Museum there. That's why I'm interested in all the sciences, rockets, SpaceX, what they're doing. It's always something I enjoyed. Astronomy. I want to have more time to take some nice deep space photographs. I got all the equipment for it. I just don't have the time. Time is my enemy. Doing Uber and Lyft gives me a little bit more type of satisfaction. You know, it's not I'm just driving people. You know, the money is not there. But that last lady, here it is. She's in her 70s, going to pick up her truck that's getting repaired. She's deaf, doesn't know how to really work the Uber app, so I'm spending a little extra time showing her I'm helping people. I'd like to help people. It's kind of a fault of mine sometimes. Back in 2021 on the island, there was a couple of girls whose car was having transmission problems and what have you. And they said they were going to cash at me the money, but the mechanic shop and I both knew they weren't. So I helped them pay for their transmission, get that fixed at the shop. It would have been nice if they would have followed through, but it happens. And sometimes it comes back to you, and sometimes it doesn't. Another friend, our so-called friend, needed help to keep his business afloat, and he was having some medical problems, mainly his fault due to excessive drinking, and I lent him a considerable amount of money. I will never see that money. He was supposed to replace the transmission on my Nissan Versa. I will never see that car again. And God, it's been 8-9 years. It's been about 9 years. A lot of mud on this road, doing 60. FSD is handling it just fine. A lot of windmills out here. Surrounded by windmills. Driving people is funny. I've lost actual count of how many people are trying to tell me these windmills are part of the government HARP program to generate the weather that they use these to make the winds. I've lost count of that one. Now, when it comes to flat earthers, I have met 37 flat earthers. They come down and see the Gulf. They don't see the curves of the edges. To them, that proves it's flat. I've done over 17,000 rides on Uber and a little over 3,000 rides on Lyft. Out of those 37 flat earthers, 29 of them were Lyft passengers. Let's have a little fun here on Grok. Hey, Ara, I got a question for you. I've been driving down here on South Padre Island in the Valley Airport, or the Valley of Brownsville, Harlingen, this area. You know what I mean. For about 5 years now. I've done a little over 17,000 rides on Uber. Let me give you an exact number. I'd like to ramble to see how she can handle it. I have done 17,874 rides total on Uber in the 5 years. And on Lyft, I have not done that many rides. I do by far more Uber than Lyft. I've only done 3,030 rides on Lyft. Okay? Now, in the 5 years down here, I've met a total of 37 flat earthers. 29 of those were Lyft passengers. Look at those numbers and give me a statistics and tell me what your thoughts. Why the big difference?
Wow. 17,874 Uber rides. So, anyway, 3,032. Wait, did you say 32 now? Still tiny compared to Uber. Out of 37 flat earthers, 29 rode with Lyft? That means they're like 8.6 times more common on Lyft trips than Uber ones. Honestly, could just be luck. Lyft riders might have been drunker, chattier, or heading home from conspiracy podcasts. Or maybe Lyft's algorithm sends folks your way who love a good debate. Wild, right?
Could it be that the Lyft platform tends to be cheaper, so those people tend to be less educated?
Maybe a tad. Lyft's often cheaper, so yeah, you might get more budget-conscious riders who are, let's say, freer with wild ideas. But honestly, Uber's got its share too, just spread thinner across your monster ride count. Correlation, not causation, though. Flat earthers come in all budgets, sneaky like that.
Okay, thank you.
And
I'm gonna put a caution light. Still going the speed limit, which is good. Now we're going to be dropping down to 55. I'm going to pump it down to Sloth because I don't know this town. And then back up to Chill. Get it come down a little bit faster. Like I say, it'd be nice under Chill if I could specify, go 4 or 5 miles over the speed limit. I'll be more comfortable having those options in the menu. Looks like we have a windmill blade over here. A couple of them. Looks like 3. So it looks like they're getting ready to install another windmill out here, or replace ones on an existing one. They do replace the blades every now and then. They're wild how big those blades are. They don't look it from the distance. A $18.64 reservation ride for Monday at 4:50 p.m. from South Padre Island to the Brownsville Airport. Well, you know, SpaceX is supposed to launch Monday, so no, I'm not taking that because I will be busy filming the launch. The launch is supposed to be at 6:15 p.m., but during that time, I'll be hauling all of my camera equipment and setting up and getting ready for it. It takes me several hours to do that. I need to get my cameras up there ahead of time, so the internals of the cameras and the lenses can match the ambient temperature and humidity outside to give you the clearest pictures. Taking them in from an air conditioning place straight up to there, they fog up too quickly. Letting them adjust naturally is usually the best thing to do. Same for astrophotography at nighttime. You want to wait for a while, let the cameras, get to the temperature. Use maybe a lens heater to keep the dew from building up on it. Let's see here. Anyway, doing Uber and Lyft to me is kind of nice. Gives me a sense of helping some people. Especially when I get the ones I'm taking them to their dialysis appointments and stuff like that, their doctor's appointments. And in entertaining some people. It's fun to be able to entertain some people every now and then when driving them. And if you have 4 or 5 good jokes, telling the same jokes over and over to your friends, they get bored. Doing an Uber and Lyft and using those same jokes to many different customers, they don't get bored. They don't know. They haven't heard it. makes it entertaining. But talk a little more about me. I was born and raised in Richmond, Virginia. Spent several years in Chicago with the Coast Guard. Lived up in Maryland, up in Hagerstown, Maryland. Worked for a company up there, and the work didn't go too well. It got down to the point where there's no work hours. So when I went to file for unemployment, the owner of that company kind of said that no, it has plenty of hours. Nobody wants to work them. So, pretty much no unemployment. I lived in Gaithersburg, Maryland for a while. Wound up coming down to Louisiana because I wound up meeting someone online, which was a bad choice. Been married, divorced. Ex-wife is now completely deaf and blind. Still talk to her every now and then. This 14.1 full self-driving would be great for her. Once this becomes unsupervised, it'll be nice that she can get in, use her braille device to tell the car where she wants to go, let the car drive her, get out the store, let the car go park itself, and then she can go do her shopping, and when she's ready to go, come out and have the car come to her. It'll give her freedom. What Elon is doing with Neuralink might be able to give her a vision back and stuff, which will really be nice. But at least having a vehicle to give her her freedom to get around instead of depending on others. Because when you're, and I don't mean hard of hearing, she's totally deaf and totally blind. She has 2 glass eyes. So, for her to communicate, she has to rely on what's called print in palm or tactile sign, which is where you spell in the hand or you print out the words, and she goes letter by letter. It's slow and cumbersome. Now imagine you're in that position and you're having to order a ride through Uber or what have you, and a total stranger pulls up. You're having to make physical contact with that person that you have no clue who they are. You have no clue what they look like or anything. You're having to trust that person. And there was a day when that was okay, but we're in a world now where that's not okay anymore. And even she says that's for her uncomfortable. She gets in the car. She doesn't know if there's another person in the car. She doesn't know if it's only the driver or if there could be a couple other people in there. She has no clue. So to have the freedom to get around when you're not able to drive would mean the world to her. We are doing 60 and a 55, but this is Texas, so people want to go a lot faster. Looks like a fox was hit, so these birds are scavenging it. Well, not a fox, a coyote. I don't think we have foxes down here. There'll be coyotes. I wonder if Grok can get that right, you know. No. Hey, are there any foxes in southern Texas, or is this just coyotes?
Yeah, there are foxes down here too, not just coyotes. You've got red foxes and gray foxes in southern Texas, especially in places like the brush country near San Carlita. They're pretty sneaky though, so you don't spot them as much as those yappy coyotes. Want me to dig up more on where exactly they hang out?
Well, what about, you know, down near Brownsville, Texas, or Harlingen, Texas, down here near the coast?
Down near Brownsville and Harlingen, you're mostly seeing gray foxes. They love the thickets and coastal brush around there. Red foxes are rarer by the coast, sticking more inland. Coyotes? Everywhere, of course.
Thank you. Okay, we're coming up close to 31 minutes from the ride, so this person could cancel and not have to pay for the ride. But they haven't, so okay, that's good. And, you know, the reason why I worry about that is because that happens all too frequently. When you spend your time driving out of the way, then all of a sudden they cancel. It's a 75 mile per hour stretch of road. It's a long stretch of road. It's kind of wild that it is 75 here. But like I say, that's grabbing it from nav data. Technically, I don't think I've seen a speed limit sign for quite a while. Well, on the other road, I saw one a while back, but I haven't seen one here in a while. So usually, if I'm in doubt, I will go over here to Waze, pull it up, and see what it says the speed limit is. Yeah, 75 is what it shows. Now I see a sign here, 75. Does it show it on the visualization here? No, it doesn't visualize on the screen. So I don't know if the car actually saw the sign or not. And you know, at higher speeds, that's okay. I don't mind it not seeing the signs. I much rather it using the processing power to be checking my path for anything that is a hazard. Let's just not search for speed limit signs in that case. Or something. Question for you. I had someone this morning talking, and they're saying about distracted driving, that if you're driving 75 miles per hour and you look down at your phone for 2 seconds, at 75 miles per hour, that 2 seconds, you've gone the entire length of a football field. Is that correct?
Yep, that's spot on. At 75 miles per hour, a car travels about 110 feet per second. In 2 seconds, that's roughly 220 feet. which is more than a football field's length, including end zones.
Okay, thank you very much. So yeah, I never played much football, so it's kind of hard for me to figure out that or picture that distance. But yeah, it doesn't take much to go a great distance. Again, sorry about the eating. Now, for this person, scheduling the ride was pretty much his only option. He's not going to be able to go out here and turn the Uber app and find an Uber driver. Uber and Lyft only has an 8-mile radius. If you schedule it, you have a lot higher radius. You have. If another driver wanted to come out here, that's a different story. Most drivers wouldn't do this. Even for me, I question doing this. I question driving all the way out here. I hope they leave a good tip. Now, I've had $100 tips from trips like this, which makes it worth the while. I don't know what it's going to be. It'll be nice. I don't bug customers for tips. I don't insist they pay tips. I've heard other Uber drivers will show up and cancel the ride and insist that they pay them cash. Because this ride is only paying $22 and change. But Uber Lyft is taking 65 or more % now of the fare. Which means he's probably paying $60, $70. I will let him know how much I'm making and then, ask them or inquire what they're paying if they don't mind telling me. They could have had some Uber credits. They could be getting a free ride for all I know. Like I said, I don't know if they're coming back from a fishing trip or a hunting trip or something out here. But as you can see in this video alone, the amount of time it takes for me to get out here, hopefully the customer be appreciative of that. It'd be nice if Uber or Lyft would understand that and not only charge this fee, but also charge for long pickup time. recall, this was a it's a standard Uber X, so it's not a Comfort or anything like that. Now we're getting there about 15 minutes early. And you know, it looks like the car is rounding down to here. So I'll let it go down the main part of. I think he was up somewhere around here, maybe. A lot of traffic coming out. Like I say, if he was out here doing some wild hog hunting or something, he could have put in for the Uber ride, and then one of the other guys that they were hunting was like, "Oh man, I can give you a ride," and they're just cancel the ride, which would really be bad at me since I've already been driving. But at least now that I'm actually heading this way, if he does cancel the ride in less than 30 minutes. I would still make some money off of Uber. Now, I could have gone ahead and stayed in Harlingen and waited until it started routing me to get there in time instead of heading this way. So this is now just kind of waiting for the last moment, in its opinion, to route it to me as I'm getting closer, seeing that I can get there in time. A lot of little bitty campsites here. Park at Port Mansfield. A little bit quieter here than, you know, Port Isabel or South Padre Island. So while we wait for this ride to pop up, like I said, I think he's down here somewhere. I'm not sure. But we're letting the car take us down to his default here in Port Mansfield. Sunset Motel. Nope. Now it's time to head to my reservation. Okay. It's trying to send the destination to my car, but what I'm going to do, I'm going to wait till I get to that point. I'm going to tell it curbside. And then head there as we see what's here at Port Mansfield. A lot of nice boat docks. We have some boat docks and stuff in Port Isabel and South Padre Island, but it seems like there's a lot more here. It seems like it has a bigger marina here. Which, in a way, I understand. You know, Port Isabel, okay, we're right on the Mexican border, so that is you got to worry about a bunch of boats that might be take people back and forth to Mexico, and a lot more hassle. Here, you're further away. But yeah, it's kind of going down a random road here in Port Mansfield, but this is Port Mansfield. Cute little town. I actually wouldn't mind living here in a way. And we're coming to the side here too. Oh, and look at that. We got some deer up ahead. Let's go ahead and let it go straight. Got the yield sign. Let's see how it handles the deer. Very cute town. The deer are very chilled. They're very relaxed. Okay, I'm going to tell it to... I'm going to go ahead and navigate to the customer now. But yeah, it's a kind of a cool town where you got just deer roaming around the town itself. I don't know if we passed any, but yeah, last time I was here, I did see a bunch of signs that said, please don't feed the deer. So maybe this person, Philip, will be ready to go. We do have, we'll get there 10 minutes to spare. But yeah, I would expect to see deer out here in the fields and what have you, but just see them down in the town, yeah, roaming across someone's yard. It's kind of cool. It is a quiet town. Nice little nature town, farming town. Got someone's boat for sale. Nice looking boat. Interesting looking house. Looks like it could use a lot of work. If it is a house, I think it is. Like I say, this marina looks a lot bigger. But yeah, I have yet to touch the brake, the accelerator, or anything. I keep wanting to say gas pedal, but you know, it is the accelerator. I don't know what's the best thing to call it. And I think we're yeah, he seems to be on this side over here, so I'm gonna try to tell it a go parking lot driveway, I guess. I know, I was looking down at the screen to find where to park. I was still watching the road with my peripheral vision. Man, you know, this is day 5 of 14.1. Still, I've had no safety critical takeovers or anything. It is quite shocking how good this does. Windjammer Restaurant and Lodge. A little bitty cute place. It just kind of feels peaceful here. Yeah, the speed limit is 20. Sunset Motel and RV. Hey, grab my Coast Guard better than that. I hate my receding hairline. I always wear a hat though. This should come up here and pull into the driveway, I think is what we're going for. It's kind of strange that kind of shows him standing in the middle of the road. Maybe the GPS is slightly off. And the car is going. Looks like it should be this address here. Yep, there it is. Now it has 1003, but this is 1005. Here in the car says 1003. And of course he waves. That was definitely him. So 0 interventions, right to the driveway. Beautiful ride. And we got some houses over here that are for sale. Yeah, wish I had the money to afford that. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this little trip to this nice little fishing town. And a subscribe would be nice. So.
How you doing?
Just fine.
Are you the Uber?
Yeah.
It's not me.
Yeah.
Is he on his way out?
He waved, so yeah.
Okay.
I believe he did. I think he was looking for you. How are you doing today? Very friendly little town. Probably an Airbnb. But anyway, a like and a subscribe would be nice. And hopefully I can get this uploaded. We'll move the seat forward. Until the next video, I have tons of videos that I want to work on, and I just have not gotten around to uploading yet. I just don't have time. I'm too busy driving. So, thank you.